The doors of your car will close automatically. Please keep your head and arms inside and remain seated at all times. And please, no smoking. Thank you.
Matterhorn Matt presents Matterhorn Mondays. Hey there, Mountaineers. Welcome to episode 41 of Matterhorn Mondays. I'm your host, Matterhorn Matt.
And I'm Alex, the historian.
And today we have an amazing episode for you guys. Lots of awesome topics. But before we do start, I want to give a shout out to The Live Place. I say this every week so far. The Live Place. Check out The Live Place, theliveplace.com. Links are in the description as always. They host a lot of Disney YouTubers who do streams. They host me. They host my other good partner, I guess not partner channel, my good friends over at Resort TV 1. They make awesome streams. Hey, 14 or 480p says Sam. It's getting back up there. It's in the yellow now, so it should be fine. But yeah, check out The Live Place. If you guys feel like donating to the stream as well, links will be in the description. And I still have a few pins left for sale. For those of you who have not seen them, this is... Oh gosh, focus. This is what they look like a Dorito. Someone on my comments said a couple weeks ago. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, I still have some pins available. If you're interested in picking one up, link to my Etsy shop will be in the description as always. But yeah, before we get into the main topics, I did want to showcase this image one of my fans sent me on Twitter. Let me get to his message really quick. Joseph from Twitter sent in this redesign of DCA after Alex and I talked about what we would do to sort of fix DCA a few weeks ago. Last week we showcased another fan's artwork that was sent in to Alex, but this week we are showcasing another fan's artwork. We should make this a weekly thing. You guys, if you're up to it, send artwork to us. We will show it off on stream or in another video. But yeah, we love receiving artwork from you guys. It's amazing. But yeah, Joseph says, quote, that's not what it says. Not a very good artist, but my idea of fixing DCA, pretty much to demolition, most of it, 8 different lands plus with Alex's Pixar World Showcase idea, but I chose Cars, Incredibles, and A Bug's Life. I tried to make it like, I just closed out of the tweet. I tried to make it like DCA's layout as best as I can. So yeah, this is a really awesome piece of art. I need to move my mic as always. But yeah, you can see it has sort of like the Sorcerer Mickey's hat like they used to have at Hollywood Studios. That's sort of what this piece of art is going for, I guess. But make a fan art channel in the Discord, says Sam. I will definitely do that.
What Disney park is this supposed to be?
This is a complete redesign of DCA, said I can't remember his name. Apologies, said Joseph. Oh. Yeah, he sent in this artwork. Complete demolition of the entire thing except for, of course, Alex's Pixar World Showcase idea. Bryce says Cars already has a land. That's true, but this is a really awesome piece of art. Thank you so much for sending this in. Yeah, I guess if you guys want to send us more artwork, you can DM me on Twitter, DM Alex on Twitter, or email us. Alex, I can't remember your email right off the top of my head. Why don't you let the lovely people know what your email is so they can DM us or email us some pieces of artwork?
Yeah, my email is disneylandhistorytoday@gmail.com.
And you don't have to send just artwork. If you have any questions, preferably send them to Alex because he'll know definitely the answer to the question more than I will. But just kidding. But yeah, you guys can ask us whatever you want in the Twitter DMs or through email, all that stuff. But moving into this week in Disney news, I still don't have a name for this segment. The Incredibles 2 opens in theaters, and it's eyeing a $150 million opening weekend. And on the flip side, Solo: A Star Wars Story is predicted to lose Disney $150 million, even though it's already been in the theaters, I believe, for 2-3 weeks-ish. And this last bullet point is one we're going to be getting more into detail on later in the show. Comcast placed a bid for $65 billion to outbid Disney. I spelled bid wrong. I spelled it bit. I just realized. Anyways, we will be getting more in depth with that later in the show. Very excited to talk about that. But back to our first topic. Disney released, out of the blue, really. I was up at like 3 in the morning the other night, and I was refreshing my YouTube feed trying to find something to watch because it's 3 a.m. and I'm watching YouTube. What else would you be doing with your life? And I saw this trailer. It was uploaded like just 20 minutes prior to when I got on YouTube. And Alex, well, I should preface this. I have not seen the original Dumbo. I've meant to watch it for a very long time. I was gonna watch it. I was gonna watch it last night, but I was busy. I had to edit. I was working on stuff, but it is on my list of Disney, like on the top of my list, Disney videos I have not seen that I plan to see. But Alex, what are your thoughts on the new Dumbo trailer Disney released? And I'm not going to be playing the trailer for you guys because of copyright issues, but Alex, go ahead.
Sorry, you were kind of lagging. So what am I talking about right now?
Oh, I can see it's already lagging out. But Alex, what are your thoughts on the recent Dumbo trailer?
Right. Okay. Well, basically, it doesn't look terrible, but I don't really like the idea of a live-action Dumbo. I really don't feel like it really is necessary. Just like a lot of other live-action remakes that Disney's been doing, it's just not necessary. And this Dumbo movie is kind of weird. I mean, I know it's Tim Burton, so you got to expect weird, but I mean, I felt like just seeing like a computer animated version of Dumbo was just really creepy looking, and I don't know, it's just telling the same story over again. Like, it's the same movie, it's just in live action. And so I just feel like, you know, the only live action remake that I really liked was Maleficent, because that one told a different story. It told the story through the eyes of Maleficent and stuff like that. But I mean, really, all these remakes, including Dumbo, is just really weird and it's unnecessary, and I don't think I'm gonna like it. That's basically what I think. And then they're gonna have the scene where Dumbo gets drunk and then he sees the pink elephants. So that's just gonna be really weird. I don't know. I'm just not prepared for this, you know?
Yeah. You use the word unnecessary, and that describes all of these live-action remakes that Disney's making. Like I said, I've not seen the original Dumbo, but this 3D animated version of Dumbo creeps me the heck out. I mean, it's like, they're going for like the photorealistic Dumbo, or what, not Dumbo, elephant, but with like huge eyes, and it's just like, oh my gosh, that's something you'd see in a nightmare. But I just hit my knee really hard. Tim Burton, I think he's a fine director. He did some interesting stuff with the Alice in Wonderland movies. Not so much the second one. I was not a fan of the second Alice Through the Looking Glass. The first one was okay, but I guess you could say I'm sort of excited to see what Tim Burton's take on this story is going to be, even though I have no idea what the story is because I've never seen the movie. But
you should have seen the movie.
I know. I was Sam was just saying in chat, I was up at watching YouTube at 3 a.m. Why didn't I watch Dumbo? It's a very good point. I will watch it this week. I promise all of you, I will watch Dumbo this week. I've been meaning to watch a Goofy movie too, but that's off topic. But
yeah, Dumbo is like one of my all-time favorite Disney movies because it's such a sad yet happy story. Like, you know, like just seeing what Dumbo went through being made fun of and stuff like that, and being forced to be in this circus and stuff like that. There were some pretty sad scenes, and of course one of my favorite scenes is, in the movie, there's a song called Baby of Mine, and he's being held by his mother, who is locked up, and so it's really sad. So the original Dumbo story, like half of it is really, really sad, and then it turns into a positive. It shows like what Dumbo can do with his ears and how he can fly and stuff like that. And so it's meant to be a cartoon, it's not meant to be a live action movie. There's too many weird things. There's Timothy Mouse and the crows and stuff like that. It's just like all these characters that are animals. It doesn't look right when it's live action. I have the same opinion about the movie Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Like Jungle Book was, like if they were like the way that Disney did it, it shouldn't have been like that. Like, you've got a whole bunch of animals that are talking and stuff like that. It doesn't look right when you have live action animals talking like animated animals. And so it's just anyway, so yeah, that's what I feel about Dumbo. It's just weird.
Yeah, we've given our opinions about the live action Disney remakes a while back, I believe. I can't remember which episode specifically, but I mean, overall, not really a fan of the live action remakes that Disney's making. Beauty and the Beast was fine. Jungle Book was meh. Alice in Wonderland, I don't think those really count. I was not a fan, or not a huge fan at least, of the Alice in Wonderland Tim Burton movies, but I am excited. Tim Burton is, like I said, a very talented director when you give him the right stuff to work with, so I am excited to see how he tells this story differently from the original version. But yeah, moving on from Dumbo to the big, oh my gosh, big breaking news. Not really breaking anymore. This happened a couple days ago at this point. But breaking news, this part sort of does not directly relate to the topic we're going to be talking about right after this, but AT&T has purchased Time Warner. Now, for those of you who know business, I do not know business. I'm just giving my perspectives, my opinion, as like an outsider. I don't really understand most of this stuff, but AT&T has purchased Time Warner. Now, these are two very, very big companies who have a lot of influence on consumers, a lot of influence on customers. Is that like the same word? Anyways, they have merged together, and I believe this merger has been going on, or has been in the talks for a long time, but recently, I believe just last week, the Supreme Court, I think it was the Supreme Court, judge allowed this to happen with no repercussions, and links to the articles I'm going to be referencing are in the description down below if you want to read along, or if you just want a good read. But this does tie into our second main topic, which is Comcast's bid to buy 21st Century Fox right out from under Disney. Now I'm gonna sort of go over the timeline of everything that's sort of happened, because it's been a while. December 14th was the first bid that Disney placed to buy 21st Century Fox, so I'm going to sort of go over the timetable as to what all of this is going on. So December 14th of 2017, I'm sure all of you remember, Disney placed a bid of $52.4 billion to buy out 21st Century Fox. Now, this was the $52.4 billion is in Disney stock, so it's not all cash like we're going to be talking about in just a second. But on May 23rd, just a month ago, Comcast places a bid for $60 billion in all cash, not Comcast stock, not Disney stock, all cash, to buy 21st Century Fox. And then just a couple weeks later, like we just mentioned, AT&T buys Time Warner. Now that sort of factors into this in a very huge way, because Like I said, this Comcast or AT&T and Time Warner merger has been in the talks for a while. They've been sort of holding back because they weren't sure if the government was going to let them go through with this deal, because it's sort of basically forming like a monopoly over the entire entertainment industry with AT&T and Time Warner. And now that AT&T was allowed to merge with Time Warner, Comcast is no longer scared of the government interfering with the merger of with 21st Century Fox, since they allowed AT&T to buy Time Warner. So on the 13th, June 13th to be exact, Comcast placed a new bid, $65 billion, which is 19% more than Disney's $52.4 billion. And remember, this is all cash. This is not Comcast stock, not Disney stock, like I mentioned. And in addition to the $65 billion, an additional $2.5 billion will be paid to Fox in case the government breaks the deal up, and an additional $1.5 billion will go to Disney for Fox for breaking the arrangement, since the Disney and Fox deal had already been going on. They were about to close, I believe. They just needed to sign some papers in a few months, I believe. And if Fox backed out of the deal with the Walt Disney Company, they would have to pay a penalty fee, which is the $1.5 billion that Comcast would be willing to pay for if they were to go with Comcast instead of Disney. So total of $70 billion from Comcast to buy 21st Century Fox. Now, just as I thought, this couldn't get more entertaining when I first heard that the Disney company would be attempting to buy out 21st Century Fox. Comcast comes in, throws a curveball, and sort of, or I guess throws a wrench in the whole thing. Gosh, yeah, this is very exciting to watch. Like I said, Alex and I, we're not business majors. We don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. Not really a lot of people actually know what's going on behind the scenes, but Disney, I believe Disney is expected to place a second bid to maybe like outbid Fox. We'll see what happens. But Fox, if Fox does end up getting sold to either of these companies, it would break up into a new company called, well, I don't think it'd be called this, but they're calling it, quote, New Fox. And they keep the Fox television stations group, the Fox Broadcasting TV network, Fox News, Fox Sports, Fox Deportes, and the Big Ten network. Now, whichever company buys Fox will get 21st Century Fox Television, which produces shows like The Simpsons. And another really big thing you want to point out when talking about this, all three companies combined have a 30% stake in Hulu. Now, whoever ends up going through with the merger will have a controlling share when it comes to Hulu. They'd be able to basically do whatever they want to do with Hulu, change it into their own streaming service, or maybe get rid of Hulu completely. I believe we talked about this a while back when we first announced, or not really announced, when we first talked about Disney buying out 21st Century Fox. But Alex, what are your thoughts on Comcast trying to outbid Disney for 21st Century Fox?
Gosh, I wonder if Disney can really even afford to try to outbid Comcast, because, Disney is working in stock, because as much money as Disney has, they're not as big as Comcast.
Yeah.
In certain ways, and the Disney company, they make a lot of money, but a lot of their shows and attractions and theme parks and stuff like that cost a lot of money. So it's like, Disney has a smaller profit margin than a lot of other companies, and Comcast, is pretty big. And, so I don't know, that's the first thing that goes through my mind is, can Disney outbid them? And second of all, what goes through my mind is, does Disney really need Fox? I mean, does it really matter if Disney buys out Fox? I don't think it does. I don't think that Disney really needs Fox that much. I mean, I can't think of any one thing in particular, that Disney will need out of Fox, except for the rights to distribute movies and things like that. Maybe some movie franchises, things like that. But I can't really, it's interesting to see these two companies now, in bids for 21st Century Fox. It's really interesting. But honestly, I don't know who's going to win this. A lot of people in the comment section are saying that Comcast is going to get it, because they're paying in cash. And I kind of believe that might be true. So
yeah.
I don't know.
I guess as a Disney fan, I'd rather have Disney buy out Fox than Comcast. But I did link the article I'm getting all this from in the chat, and it's also in the description for those of you who want to, I guess, be informed as to what's going on, because this is a very detailed article from The Verge. Big shout out to The Verge, if anyone from them is watching. They're probably not, but big shout out to them for putting this all together for people like us who have no idea what's going on. But yeah, this is a very, very interesting thing to look at as a consumer. I do agree with Alex. I don't think Disney is going to end up getting Fox, since they're not bidding in all cash. Like Alex said, unless Disney bids in all cash, Universal is 100% going to get Fox. Unless, of course, Disney comes back with, maybe they offer something else alongside the $5.4 billion. That would sort of tip Fox towards Disney, but I'm really not sure. Like we said, we don't really know a lot about business, about this kind of stuff, about how it really works overall. But I do think that this is going to be sort of maybe like in textbooks within the next maybe like 15 or 20 years, like business textbooks, about how there was a bidding war from Disney and Comcast to buy 21st Century Fox. So yeah, it is very interesting. I really wish I could understand more of it as to what like the logistics of everything were, because when Disney first announced that they were going to buy Fox, I believe they said it would take almost over a year for the whole thing to go through. But now, since Comcast has placed not one but two bids on Fox, it's going to take even longer. Even if Disney does end up getting Fox, it'll probably take another year and a half, another half a year. But yeah, there are lots of other YouTube videos out there. There is one YouTube video that I got a lot of this information from gosh, I can't remember his name. He makes like movie videos, like Marvel movies. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but it will be linked in the description of this episode. But yeah, we want to know what you guys think about this whole Fox Disney Comcast craziness that's going on. Swagford says Comic Book Cast. Not them. I used to be subscribed to them. It's Emergency Awesome is his name. Charlie from Emergency Awesome. I've been subscribed to him for a long time. He makes awesome Marvel videos, DC videos, all that stuff. But I guess the big question, like Alex said, is who needs Fox more than the other? And I don't really know if either of these two companies need Fox, because if you look at it, Comcast, the article I linked has two wonderful images of what Comcast and Disney will both have collectively if one or the other buys Fox. Comcast will have Fandango, MSNBC, NBC, Telemundo, Universal Parks and Resorts, USA Network, Xfinity. I didn't realize Comcast owned Xfinity. That's a really big one. Universal Movies, of course, and they'll also get 20th Century Fox if the deal ends up going through. 20th Century Fox Television, Fox 21 Television Studios, Fox 2000 Pictures, Fox Networks Group. That's couple words to say. Fox, Searchlight Pictures, FX Networks, Sky, I believe this is Star, and a minority share in Hulu. And of course, we all know if Disney already has ABC, of course, the Parks and Resorts, Disneyland, Walt Disney World, Lucasfilm, ESPN, Marvel, Pixar, Touchstone, along with a few other smaller companies that they own. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, who needs Fox the most? Some people in chat are saying that they both want Fox to expand their library. I guess that'd be the biggest reason these two companies are gonna want to have, or are gonna want to own Fox, because like Alex and I mentioned on the previous episode where we talked about this, when Disney does eventually launch their streaming service, I believe late next year that's gonna happen. Imagine if they were able to put all of the Fox TV shows, movies on that as alongside all the Disney movies and TV shows that they have. It'd be like a real game changer when it comes to streaming services, because not even Hulu or Netflix have a lot of the movies that Disney has, or even a lot of the movies that Fox has, you know, like Deadpool, like I can't name any Fox movies right off the top of my head. I believe Avatar, yeah, it's all linked in the article, but I am hoping that Disney does get, in the long run, Disney does end up getting Fox, just because of the whole Marvel, X-Men stuff, Fantastic Four stuff. But yeah, that's another part that I don't really understand with the rights to all the superheroes that Fox owns. Because I did see Swagford say a couple days ago in our Discord chat that regardless of who ends up buying Fox, the rights to the Fantastic Four, to the X-Men, would end up going back to Disney. I think he said since they're non-transferable. I'm not 100% sure if that's true or what the deal with that is, but yeah, like we said, very interesting stuff. That's really all we have to say. Very interesting stuff. We don't really know a lot about what's going on, a lot about what's going to happen, but hopefully Disney does end up getting Fox, just because we're big Disney fans, and we don't want crummy Comcast, crummy Universal to get their paws, their dirty paws on Fox. We want it all for ourselves.
Yeah.
Alex, any closing thoughts on this topic before we move on? I know it's a sort of big topic, but any closing thoughts?
You know, I think I'd have to agree that in the end, I do want Disney to have Fox, because I think that Disney could do a lot more with it than Comcast would. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. We'll have to stay tuned on this bid, see who gets it.
And I do believe all the shareholders are meeting this Wednesday. What day is this Wednesday? The 20th. 20th? The 20th, I believe, is the day they're all meeting. Or maybe it was last Wednesday. I think it's this Wednesday that all the shareholders are meeting to discuss what's going to be happening, because I did read an article that said Fox was going to take Comcast's bid into consideration. They weren't going to just outright ignore it. I mean, how could you outright ignore $65 billion in cash compared to Disney's $5.4 billion in Disney stock? But we will keep you all updated on what ends up happening. We'll throw any news in that happens to pop up within the coming weeks. But yeah, very excited to see where this goes. This makes me want to learn like a lot more about the business side of everything, the business side of Disney and all that stuff. Probably not, because I'm so lazy. But moving on to our final topic, Tokyo Disney Sea has just announced its biggest expansion ever, as they say. Biggest expansion ever. Yeah, I'm going to be reading straight off from the Disney Parks blog. Quote, Tokyo Disney Resort announced yet another expansion project today, in addition to the ongoing Tokyo Disneyland development, including a Beauty and the Beast themed area, Big Hero 6 attraction. The resort will expand Tokyo Disney Sea in 2022 with an 8th port to include the films from Frozen, Tangled, and Peter Pan, as long as in addition to, they will also have a new deluxe hotel with a, quote, one-of-a-kind luxury wing that will also be connected to the port. Whatever that means. I have no idea what that means. But overall, I wish I lived in Tokyo, because the amount of cool things that they're getting for their Disney parks is amazing. Like, okay, a Frozen Land, we've seen that, we've sort of seen that before. I believe Paris is getting a Frozen Land, but Tokyo is getting a Tangled Land, a Peter Pan themed land along with that. So yeah, very exciting. I really wish I could move to Tokyo right now just to go to the parks, but like I mentioned, a Frozen Land will be added to. Sam is saying their Fantasmic is better. I didn't know Tokyo Disney had a Fantasmic. I will have to look that up after the show. But yeah, Frozen Land coming to Tokyo Disney Sea. It will have a boat ride, I believe, similar to the Frozen Ever After ride in Epcot. I'm just guessing. That's sort of like the only logical connections you can make between boat rides, because it does say that it is a heartwarming attraction that will take guests by boat to experience the story of Anna and Elsa while enjoying iconic songs from the hit film, and a new restaurant will be located inside Arendelle Castle, unquote. So yeah, Frozen, not too excited about this. Again, we already have the Frozen Ever After ride in Epcot, so, which I did not go on when I went because the wait was like 300 minutes. But the more exciting part of this expansion is the Tangled area. Alex and I have been saying, add a Tangled area to Disneyland. Tangled, please, it's much better than Frozen. Much, much better than Frozen. But sadly, Tokyo Disney Sea will be getting Tangled Land. Not us, at least so far. But I'm going to read another quote from the Disney Parks blog. Quote, guests can board gondolas for a romantic tour of Rapunzel's, quote, best day ever, as she journeys with Flynn to the Lantern Festival for an unforgettable finale. And they will also have a restaurant inspired by the hideout of the humorous band of thugs in the movie. I'm guessing similar to the Snuggly Duckling, I think is what it's called in the movie. But the part I'm excited for most of all out of everything is the Peter Pan themed land. For the first time ever, an entire land themed to Peter Pan. One of my favorite movies of all time is Peter Pan, and finally he's getting the representation that he deserves in the Disney parks. Too bad it's not in Disneyland, but in the Tokyo Disney Sea, he is getting the representation he deserves. It's going to be themed to Neverland, as you can probably tell. It has Skull Rock, Captain Hook's ship. Yeah, Captain Hook's ship, Skull Rock, it says. The first area will feature 2 new attractions and a restaurant inspired by the Lost Boys hideout. In the first attraction, guests will fly over the jungles of Neverland with Peter Pan to rescue Wendy's younger brother John in a battle with Captain Hook, and the second attraction will immerse guests in the world of Pixie Hollow, where Tinkerbell and her fairies live. So, not too excited about the Tinkerbell attraction, but the Peter Pan attraction, they do say guests will fly over the jungles of Neverland. I believe people, I saw a DSMY newscast say something along the lines of how it's going to be like Flight of Passage in Pandora. That's just what he said, and I tend to trust what he says. So, but yeah, very exciting things coming to Tokyo Disney Sea. I really wish I could go there. Maybe one day I'll be able to visit, but alongside all of this, they will also be getting a new deluxe resort hotel that will open inside of Tokyo Disney Sea, like we mentioned earlier in the show. It will have 475 deluxe and luxury guests rooms with 2 restaurants and a merchandise shop. Alex, what are your thoughts on the Frozen Land coming to Tokyo Disney Sea?
Oh, jeez. Frozen Land. I'm so disgusted by that movie. It is such a terrible movie, and then everybody loves it, and I'm just like, why? Anyway, Frozen Land, I mean, I guess that'll satisfy many people who love the movie Frozen, so they've always wanted Frozen Land ever since the movie came out, and so they finally get one, and they get it in Tokyo Disney Sea. So, I can't ignore the fact that that's what people want. They want a Frozen ride. They want more Frozen in the park. So, Hey, it's on the other side of the ocean from here, so I'm fine with it. As long as Frozen Land does not come to Disneyland, I am fine with it. That's my thoughts on that one.
What about the Tangled Land and the Peter Pan Land?
Tangled Land sounds really exciting, actually. I wish that we had something like that here in Fantasyland. I mean, it'd be great to see the tower and to like explore this area just like in the movie Tangled, and then go on the boat ride, the gondola ride, and see scenes from the movie. I mean, this sounds amazing. I would love to, eat at the Snuggly Duckling and stuff like that. Like that'd be really cool. So I'm all for a Tangled Land. I hope that it's successful over there, so that way they bring it over here.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that Frozen Land is not successful. I'm hoping that Tangled Land is super successful. And then finally, the Peter Pan Land sounds really cool, actually. I guess I would call myself a secret fan of Peter Pan, because I don't really mention
it. Alex.
It's not a secret anymore. It's not a secret anymore. I don't really talk about it. I don't really talk about Peter Pan very much, or talk about the movie or anything, but it certainly is one of my favorite stories. And so being able to go to this land, I mean, honestly, when you look at the artwork, it reminds me of what the original Fantasyland used to look like, with the Jolly Roger and Skull Rock and all that. And then of course the idea of this flyover ride, which to me sounded like the Peter Pan attraction that we all know and love. But if it's going to be something like the Slide of Passage at Pandora Land, then that might be something totally new when it comes to a Peter Pan attraction. So the Peter Pan Land sounds kind of cool. I also kind of wish we had something like that. I mean, I'm more for Tangled than I am for Peter Pan, but nevertheless, I would still like to see that here in Fantasyland. So anyway, they're having it there at Tokyo Disney Sea sounds really amazing. And honestly, the Tangled Land and the Peter Pan Land give me even more of a reason to want to visit the park someday. So I'm definitely very excited for these projects, to see how they turn out, and to see the videos of them on YouTube. I'm excited to see it.
I want to give a quick apologies to Avery. I always end up mixing up people's genders. Avery is a he, not a she. So I apologize, Avery. But anyways, yeah, I'm most excited for the Peter Pan themed land, just because it's never happened before. I mean, we sort of have a Sam says turbo level oof, but there's sort of a Tangled themed area already in Walt Disney World, but that's not really, I wouldn't really call that a Tangled land. It's just restrooms with Rapunzel's tower, but it is very nice, at least. It's nice to have. I mean, it looks nice at night, and they do have amazing charging. I believe they have outlets inside of tree stumps, which is very useful. Came in useful when we visited. But Peter Pan is, for those of you that don't know, Peter Pan is one of my favorite Disney characters ever, just because he's Peter Pan. How can you not like Peter Pan? He's like the embodiment of childhood. Doesn't want to grow up, flies away to Neverland to avoid all of his responsibilities. Sounds just like me. I wish I could be Peter Pan. Never grow up. But yeah, Peter Pan themed land does look really amazing, and like Alex said, it does also remind me of the early Disneyland with the Skull Rock and all that stuff. But I mean, just look at this artwork with the rainbow up here. That's really neat. And the I think that's like a volcano. I haven't seen the movie in a long time, but yeah, all this. Oh my god, Amelia said she doesn't like Peter Pan. How can you say that? But I am very excited.
Do you think they're actually going to recreate that rainbow?
I mean, probably not, but it does look nice on the concept art. I mean, I'm sure it's possible, but probably not. I mean, yeah, probably not. But what was I gonna say? There was also a discussion online about whether the Peter Pan attraction in Tokyo Disneyland will get removed once this Peter Pan themed land opens, if it will get closed and moved over to this land, or closed entirely and replaced by the new attractions that will be in this land. But yeah, very exciting. I really wish this would come to Disneyland. This is really making me reconsider going to Tokyo, spending like a week there when this opens, and taking all the pictures I want, because it does. I've never been to Tokyo. Tokyo seems like a nice place to visit, and it seems like every park in all the foreign countries are suddenly getting better and better lands and attractions than Disneyland and Walt Disney World, which is really sad. I really wish it would be sort of like an even playing ground, all the attractions everywhere. But yeah, this does make me want to go to Tokyo. Maybe one day when this opens, I'll have enough money saved up, because I think I said last week of how I mentioned how cheap the tickets were for Tokyo Disneyland compared to Disneyland in California. So yeah, very interesting. And yeah, this is all very exciting. I'm sure Alex would like to visit as well. Tangled Land, gosh, they're also like I mentioned earlier, they're getting a Beauty and the Beast themed land too in Disneyland, Tokyo Disneyland. Like, how jealous is it possible for me to get? That's like testing my jealousy as to how jealous I can get of Tokyo Disneyland, because they're getting like all the good stuff, it seems like. And then Disneyland is just getting Pixar Pier, Star Wars Land. I'd rather have the Peter Pan themed land than Star Wars Land, but I mean, I guess it's not up to us. If it were up to us, Disneyland would be totally different. But Alex, any closing thoughts on... Oh, well, I forgot to mention the hotel. Well, I guess there isn't really much to talk about. It's just a hotel. I believe 470 rooms, deluxe and luxury rooms. Yeah, but Alex, any closing thoughts on the new lands coming to Tokyo Disney Sea?
I hope that they look really great, and that the Tangled and Peter Pan lands are really successful, so maybe we can see them arrive here at Disneyland sometime.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, because the Magic Kingdom is getting the Tron Light Cycles attraction from Shanghai. So it is entirely possible that we could get maybe like a scaled down version of any of these lands. I'd be happy with Frozen Land, just because it's something new to explore, something new to experience, but I'd much prefer Tangled or Peter Pan. But yeah, hopefully they do go over well. Hopefully we do get some variation of these lands in the future. But yeah, everyone in the chat's talking about anime. Matt, do you like the Stitch anime? I have no idea what that is. I'll have to look it up later. But anyways, that's gonna do it for these topics. We're gonna move into our new segment, Words with Walt. Someone suggested that. I cannot remember the name right off the top of my head, but this is where we discuss a quote. We each pick a quote, alternate every week, and then we discuss a quote from Walt Disney. So this week it was Alex's turn. This week, Alex chose the quote, "Disneyland is a work of love. We didn't go into Disneyland just with the idea of making money." Walt Disney. Alex, why did you pick this quote for today's episode?
Because I was forced to. No, I'm just kidding. No. I chose this quote because, well, for one thing, it shows the way Walt Disney thinks. That, like, that Disneyland wasn't just about money. Like, it never was just about money. I mean, of course, Walt Disney and the people in the company wanted Disneyland to be financially successful. Of course they did. But it wasn't about money to begin with. It was about providing something to the public that nobody else had. And so that's why I really love this quote. I mean, it really embodies the way that Walt Disney thought. I mean, everything that he created, like the technologies, the new ride advancements, the new ways of making movies and techniques and things like that that his company developed, it was all for the sake of the show, never for the sake of money. And that's something I really love about the company. But I also chose this quote because I feel lately that things that are coming to the Disneyland resort are only coming to the resort to make money. That Disney, I mean, it doesn't come as a surprise that sometimes the Disney company lately has been making things just for the sake of money. Walt Disney no longer heads the company anymore. He's been dead for a long time. The company does its own thing, and it's driven by creating profits for its shareholders. And so I feel like things like Pixar Pier are like really just a way to generate like a money grab. Like they're giving as little as possible in order to generate as much profit as possible. And that's something that I feel is really sad and is missing from the company when they do things like that. And so Star Wars Land, they're definitely putting a lot of effort and a lot of attention to it, but I feel like its main purpose for being in Disneyland is just to make Disneyland more money. It's not really about the experience at all. I mean, so this is why I chose this quote. What do you think about this quote, Matt?
Well, a lot of these Walt quotes can really apply to what the Disney company is today compared to how it was back when Walt first founded the company, when Disneyland first opened. I agree with a lot of what you said. Disney does, I mean, of course, there's the argument that Disney is a company. They have to make money with all the merchandising, with everything new they open in the park. There has to be a return in profits. But at least with the things like we were just talking about, the Tangled Land, the Frozen Land, the Peter Pan Land, stuff like that is, of course, they're only releasing or building that so the company can make more money for people to visit Tokyo Disney Sea more, because maybe before people didn't really feel like visiting Tokyo Disney Sea because there weren't enough Disney properties. But now with Peter Pan Land, or I guess Neverland Land, that's what I'm going to call it, the Tangled area and the Frozen Land, more people are definitely going to be coming to visit the parks because of those lands. Even I was just saying how I'd be willing to shell out as much money as it would take to fly over to Tokyo and visit those lands. But at least when it comes to that, compared to stuff like Pixar Pier, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, and even all of the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff that's happening in Epcot, at least it feels like there was care put into the stuff at Tokyo Disney Sea. And I know this was just announced, but it's just so much better than stuff like Mission Breakout, with stuff like Pixar Pier. Like Alex said, Pixar Pier just feels like a direct cash-in for all the Pixar movies that have been released throughout the years. Especially with like the new fireworks show in Disneyland, the Pixar fireworks show. I can't remember what it's called right off the top of my head. But yeah, all of these quotes of Walt really do apply, and it really does show how much the Disney company has changed from when Walt was in charge to Michael Eisner today. Not Michael Eisner. I don't know why I said Michael Eisner. He was just on my mind. To Bob Iger today. But yeah, this is really one of my favorite quotes from Walt. Thank you for choosing this, Alex.
No problem.
I think that's going to wrap up this episode of Matterhorn Mondays, but I forgot last week to mention the poll. I did have a poll for last week, by the way, but I forgot to bring it up, so nobody voted. So I do have a poll this week, linked down in the description, also linked in the chat for those of you who don't feel like scrolling down and going into the description. The poll for this week is, what do you think of the new live-action Dumbo trailer? Do you think it was amazing, can't wait to see it? Did you think, it was okay? Or did you think it was terrible and you're never going to see this movie or any of the other Disney live-action remakes? But yeah, polls are linked in the description. Make sure you guys go out and vote. And, oh, there's already another vote. Looks great, can't wait to see it. Someone voted. But, yeah, thank you all for watching or listening to this week's episode of Matterhorn Mondays. We want to hear what you all thought of the topics we discussed, whether it be the Dumbo trailer, whether it be Comcast's bid to outbid Disney to buy Fox, or the expansions on Tokyo Disney Sea. Comment down below, type in chat. We want to hear your thoughts. And let's see, I still don't have a script for this, but anyways, links to my Twitter and Alex's Twitter will of course be down in the description. And definitely, guys, go check out Alex. He told me not to have him describe what kind of videos he makes, just because he's on a hiatus, he called it, because of his Disney Pass is blocked out. But still, if you're not subscribed to Alex, go check him out. He makes amazing Disney history videos, he makes amazing vlogs, and once he's not blocked out from the parks, he will get right back on that grind and make even more amazing videos. So link to Alex's channel will be down in the description. Also, link to my pins will be in the description as well. Any last thoughts on everything, Alex?
I don't think so. I'm like I said, I'm excited to see those new lands at Tokyo Disney Sea, because hopefully we can get them here at Disneyland. I'm honestly really hoping for that. So that's my final thoughts.
Alright, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and of course, as always, have a great big beautiful tomorrow.